Hello once again, everyone. I am here to read you Neckbeard stories. Although sometimes I question these because some of them are neckbeards and some of them are just crazy. And I bring that up as a point. Well, you'll see from the title. From Reddit user Marmalade. I just keep now imagining like an army of like anthropomorphic marmalade jars. I don't know why. March. Anyhow, Andy, the mentally unstable. This went on for 2 years because I let it. Not entirely sure if this belongs here, but I think it fits in. I met this guy on MySpace in the summer between 9th and 10th grade. I believe it was about 2008. My older sister recognized this guy because he went to school with her for 2 years. When he was a junior in high school, she was a freshman. When I met him, he graduated high school already. At the time, I was a thirsty emo girl who got out of her first relationship, so I didn't really care too much about how old this dude was. When I messaged him, he seemed equally as interested in me. For all of high school, this didn't bother me. In retrospect, though, it's sick now as this adult emotionally attached himself to a young teenager. Am I going to need the bucket? I think I'm going to need the bucket. This is going to get weird, isn't it? This is either going to get weird, or I'm going to get, like, really sick, or it's going to get weird, or I'm going to get really angry. Because this could go 2 different ways very quickly. Let's keep going. Anyhow, we were just friends on MySpace and Facebook for a while. He was really supportive emotionally, and would make suggestive remarks sometimes about how young I was. I didn't let this bother me, though. I enjoyed the flirting, as I was, and still am, a hopeless romantic. I thought we could be star-crossed lovers. He didn't pressure me to meet him in person or anything. He only suggested that we do every now and then. During this online friendship, my sister would tell me about how he'd make strange and often dark comments in class. He said something to her about punching midgets? What? One time, and would say, "Sail Hayton." Yeah, not Hail Satan, just... What? I just thought he was a weird guy. Hell, I was weird too. I wrote some dark, gritty stories in my downtime. He turned out to be I will not pronounce this right. See, I could say Anton LaVey, and you know which branch of Satanism is his. I cannot say. I'm going to try it. Levayian? Levayian. I can never say it right. It's one of those words that I just can't fucking say. You know what I'm trying to say, though. But those are pretty harmless, to finish the sentence. Finally, we decided to meet in the following spring. He lived pretty close to me anyway. We met at a Blockbuster. Oh my god, Blockbuster. But at first, I couldn't tell if I'd found the right person. His profile pics online, he was almost always wearing some kind of mask. He was a pretty overweight guy with scraggly ginger facial hair. I didn't really care, though, because I had a thing for chubby gingers back then. He also had sort of a baby face and just looked really gentle. I asked if he was Andy, and he confirmed that, yes, he was. I'm going to use his real name because, spoiler alert, he's dead. Okay, didn't see that coming. So Andy walked me to the nearby Walgreens. He had already planned out what we'd be doing that day, and he said we needed to gather supplies. While at Walgreens, we browsed the flashlights. He said we'd be exploring somewhere, and I was getting kind of excited. This was a fancy headlamp that they had there. It was a little bit pricey, so we settled for a dinky little flashlight and some batteries. When we walked out of the Walgreens, though, Andy showed me that he had pocketed the headlamp. Being a rebellious teen, I thought he was cool. And we didn't have the right batteries for it, though, so we couldn't even use it. Fun fact, he got banned from the same Walgreens not long after for shoplifting. Skipping ahead, we showed up at a storm drain near a park within walking distance. Oh. It's pitch black inside, so the flashlight we had barely illuminated anything. Thinking back on it, an adult going into a storm drain with a teenager is hella sketchy. Yeah. Anyway, we had to turn back not far in because something large was blocking the way ahead of us. I didn't get a good look at what it was, though. Next up on this friend date was breaking into an abandoned house. This house has since been renovated and now has people living there, but back in 2009 it was super run down and abandoned. Clothes and furniture were strewn about, illegible graffiti sprayed across the walls. I'm pretty sure there was something dead in the refrigerator. We didn't stay for too long in the house. 3 days later, we decided to hang out again after I got out of school. A guy I was barely friends with, let's call him Drake, had asked me out that day. I reluctantly said yes, despite having a crush on Andy. Later on, while I was riding the bus to the mall with Andy, I got messages from my friends saying that I shouldn't date Drake, so I broke up with him through text. Teen drama is so much fun. I told Andy that I had just broken up with a dude, and Andy asked if I wanted to date him. I eagerly said yes. Then we went to the World Market by the mall and shoplifted some plum wine. Yeah, I sure know how to pick 'em. We snuck sips from the bottle on the bus ride back from the mall. That was my first time drinking alcohol, and while dating him, it certainly wasn't my last. We ended up getting dropped off in the downtown area of our city, and we walked for about an hour back to our side of town, all the while drinking the wine and joking around. I was an extremely shy person back then, so being able to talk to someone openly was entirely new for me. When we get back to our side of town, we ended up laying down in the grass together in the meadow across the street from where I lived. We shared our first kiss there, but we ended up making out when he got too handsy. I'm embarrassed by that now because my mom kind of caught us. This man, who is almost 19 years old, 19 fucking years old, gave stolen alcohol to a teenage girl, walked through a city at night, and made out with her in the grass until her mother caught them. And before all that, this adult took a minor into a storm drain and an abandoned house alone. I'd ask, what kind of young adult does this shit? But now that I really know him, I know how fucked up he was mentally. There's way more to my experiences with this guy, but I don't want to make this post too long, so tell me if you want to read more. Andy got much darker as I got to know him and got me into some really bad habits. I also met my now husband while I was dating this guy, and, well, I ended up making some very poor choices. Ooh. Well, okay, so I didn't need the bucket entirely, but it definitely got close. This makes me scared for part 2, actually. I am going to read it. I will. I promise that. But, wow. You know, I think I've said this about this area, about this wonderful place in the South. As disgusting as this is, and I'm sure a lot of you are listening to this as, like, you know, a teenager, and this guy who's almost in his fucking 20s is fooling around with this teenager. You're like, that's really fucking sick and disgusting. And you're right, it is. It hurts me to say that it's actually fairly common in this horrible, horrible place. I remember it being in high school. I was like 16, and there was this girl I was kind of friends with. It was like roughly the same age. Maybe we were 16, 17. I don't really fucking remember the age. I just remember we had a class together, and we were in high school. I'd have to say maybe 10th grade. So not, you know, very old, but she told me that she had a boyfriend who went to, she said he went to a different school. I assumed a different high school. And then when she clarified, it's like, no, he goes to Southeastern. Southeastern's the local college. I thought she meant like a transfer, like he was super smart, so he took like advanced classes at the college. No, he was 22. Yeah, that happens in really shitty places like this. So it's gross, it's horrifying, but it's actually something I've seen before. Fuck. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you... Sorry about that. They're setting fireworks off outside my fucking building now. If you enjoyed this and would like to support this show, I have a Patreon. You can buy t-shirts. And if you'd like to send me stuff, I have a subreddit. I have a Twitter. Send me anything. Pictures, stories, it doesn't matter. I'm down for all of it. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Hopefully there won't be any more fireworks. I love you all. And goodbye. Okay, bye.